Mic check, mic check. I did see something about monkeys in Florida. I'm not exactly sure what was going on with that. Now I want to look it up. It is midnight. And we are live. It's an interesting search. Here we go. Caution, monkeys. Florida officials warn residents amid simian sightings. All right. Wild monkeys have been spotted in Orange City, Florida, sparking warnings from local officials to stay away from the on-the-loose primates. Don't feed them, obviously. Warrior from the Fire, Agent Tomcat, meet each other. Hi. Agent Tomcat, I've known this guy for like going on 20 years. Warrior from the Fire is a former coworker of mine. So, I know you both know me. Now you know each other. But you just said you don't have raccoons. So what do you mean trash pandas? What do you mean by that? Oh, so Orange City, about 30 miles north of Orlando. So yeah, that's actually not too far from us here, yeah. It is unknown how many rhesus monkeys native to Southeast Asia roam wild in the state. There are several populations of squirrel monkeys wild in Florida. Cox, okay. But yeah, we do have an issue with monkeys, like it says right in front of us. They came to Florida in the 1930s, released in north central Florida by a local boat captain, the university said. Another population was created by a research institute in the Florida Keys in the 1970s and wreaked havoc on mangrove trees. Oh, yeah, and then there's that too. They don't mention it, but yeah, that was a thing. Silver Springs. Because I've been down Silver Springs a couple times, and yeah, there's a couple points where you see the monkeys. They're pretty, as far as I know, they stay pretty isolated around that area, but there's multiple populations in Florida, I guess. So don't feed them. There's a $500 fine or something like that, and you might get your hand bit off. I don't think it was the Tarzan in the 60s though. I think it was older than that. Like it was black and white, I'm pretty sure. Oh, I like this song. Oh, I didn't want to click on that. I want to go to Wiki or something. am I at 144p when I have highest quality? I don't know, because I am looking at it at 720p on my TV. So, oh, but highest quality selected doesn't always actually do the right thing, right? Because I've had times where I'm like, oh, do like data saver, and you go on there, I'm like, well, it's still at 360p. So it's not exactly the best. Yeah, you gotta set it. Oh, that's interesting. So in the 1930s, Colonel Toohey, a concessionaire who operated the Jungle Cruise boat ride, established the first troop of wild rhesus monkeys, and there's the pop-up with a picture of them. The rhesus macaque. Macaque. On an island in the Silver River, he planned to use the attraction of the colony as one of the sites of his jungle cruise. But, yeah, that was dumb. They quickly escaped the island, formed their own feral troops along the river, and rhesus monkeys are still seen along the river. Ah, it's crazy how many of those things they filmed. But they did. You know, it's funny because one of the things I wanted to talk about, and this was some movie news. It's funny because we talk about like sequelitis and these movies always sequels. You know, oh, where's the original movies? And there's some truth to that, but I don't think people realize it's always been like this. If you look back into like the 30s and 40s and the 50s and stuff, some of these movie series, they were kind of cash grabs. I mean, they were cool, but yeah, you have Tarzan right there. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 different Tarzan movies filmed in 10-year span. And then there was what was it, Elvis and Costello or something like that. They made a crap load of their adventures. But yeah, they've always done this thing where if you find something that works, you find a formula, then they're going to try to sell it. Oh, and Creature from the Black Lagoon was also filmed there in 1954. I didn't know that. I've definitely seen that. I mean, it was, but it's also cool. Like, I actually really like a lot of like old school movies, especially like old school monster and creature movies and stuff like that. So yeah, it is kind of, some of it is kind of dumb, but at the same time you can look back at it with kind of nostalgia tinted glasses or something, I guess. Huh. There was a lot of stuff that was filmed there, actually. We're just gonna kind of skip over this part up here. Yeah, there was like a fire, destroyed a bunch of buildings. Buildings were rebuilt. And a new building was added across from the dock, space for retail stores and restaurants. It survives today. In 1958, episodes of television series Sea Hunt were filmed at Silver Springs, continuing the end of the series into 1961. Kind of crazy, a lot of stuff. Oh yeah, they would milk the series back then. So this idea that like it's something new or like Hollywood today. There's a lot of problems with Hollywood today, but the idea that of doing film series and sequels and stuff, that's very not new. Yeah, very interesting history of this place. I mean, if you've ever been there, if you've ever kayaked or any of that kind of stuff, it's really pretty. Beautiful, crystal clear water. You get to see alligators and snakes and turtles and monkeys, apparently. Hopefully we're not going to start seeing them in our backyards. Speaking of movies, this one's actually kind of disappointing. Warner Brothers Discovery ends up delaying release of new Lord of the Rings. Don't care about that, really. Dune and Godzilla films. I like the Godzilla films. And I have not seen the new Dune, but it looks fantastic. My brother's seen it. He really liked it. Like, he actually really got into it, and we were actually pretty excited. I was going to, like, watch it, and we were going to go see the new one here in November because it looks pretty good. Well, Warner Bros. Discovery said Thursday that the releases of 3 of its coming big-budget action and fantasy films will be pushed to later dates. The latest complications stemming from the dual writers and actors strike that have brought Hollywood to a standstill. So Dune Part 2, Godzilla Kong, The New Empire, so I'm definitely excited to see that. And Lord of the Rings, The War of the... which, to be honest, I didn't know this was coming. Like, I feel like it's time to leave Lord of the Rings alone. We had a pretty good series there, but the Dune sequel was initially set to be open this November. I think Godzilla Kong was not coming out this year anyways. So if it was delayed, it was just delayed sometime in next year. They decided to delay the release to time with the film's global cast and filmmaking team so that they can support it promotionally. I mean, these are probably, like, Dune is going to do well. It did pretty good, the first one. And that's considering it was released in, like, 2020. And it still managed to do $402 million globally. Godzilla movie was originally March 15th. So that's been pushed back, at least a month. Right. Unfortunately, that's, like, what my concern is like, because I like Lord of the Rings, and I really like the Hobbit series. I remember, I never saw the original ones in theater, but I saw, I think, the Hobbit 2 and 3, because I didn't get to see the first one. I saw the two, the Desolation of Smaug. Which one was that? I didn't see that one. I can't remember which ones. But anyways, I was all excited. I went to, like, the opening night for the third one. I saw it in, like, IMAX and all that kind of stuff. I was like, this is a big deal. This is a cultural phenomenon. The end of the Lord of the Rings, series. I was all excited. But it's never like that. You think it's ended. You think it's all done and it's a big deal and all that. And then, oh, well, there's going to be an Amazon series, and then that ends up being garbage. And like, oh, and then we're going to do more movies. And you're like, okay, but what's that going to be about? Thank you. Okay, so I saw Desolation of Smaug and Battle of Five Armies in theater. I did not see Unexpected Journey because at the time I was not a big Lord of the Rings fan. I saw Unexpected Journey later on Blu-ray. I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty good. I know it's kind of sacrilege, but at the time I liked The Hobbit more than The Lord of the Rings. And then overall I just kind of, like, I'm not still, like, not a huge fan of it. I like them. They're good movies, and I understand the cultural significance. So and I was glad to see, like, certain characters tied, into both of them, and then seeing, like, for instance, Gandalf at, like, his earlier stage, like what he was doing before he was in those movies. I've actually read I think I don't remember how they broke it up in the books. But I think I read the first Lord of the Rings a long, long time ago in a galaxy far away. I also read this other series or book, and now I don't think I can remember it. Some lady, I think, wrote it. Or just be like Ursula. Something. Oh my gosh. It was from like a similar era as Lord of the Rings, but it was like, of course, it was after, because Lord of the Rings is kind of the godfather of fantasy. Well, that's probably a good thing, though. You know, if they weren't like allowed to use much more beyond that, they might have just messed with a lot of stuff. There, I knew it. I found it. Okay, you can't see it because it doesn't put the dialogue box down. This is who I was looking for. I think. She was first published in 1959. Yeah. This is... I read her fantasy novel, and it was actually really good. Remember when Wikipedia had the thing up here where you could pick the section you wanted to jump to? Why did they get rid of that? I don't want to scroll through the whole thing. Yeah, but they also they did it with an agenda as well. There was a lot of reasons it was bad, and it definitely wasn't just because of access to content. You can take any, like, and you probably know, so you can take almost any level of content and you can make something good out of it, like a story, right? You can do that, but they didn't intend on making something good in the first place. This is what I was talking about. The Earthsea novels. I read A Wizard of Earthsea. That was actually a really good book. I don't know if I actually had the other two, or if they were all together, but I do remember reading this first one, A Wizard of Earthsea, and it was pretty good. For somebody who's not like super into fantasy, like high fantasy stuff for books and movies, I actually really enjoyed it. And it had like tinges of Tolkien there, because obviously Tolkien's stuff was shortly before it, so. But that was a pretty good. I want to look that up. A Wizard of Earthsea. I love how I can, every time I forget this book or this writer, I just search Ursula and then it ends up coming up with the rest. I'm like, oh, that's it. It is regarded as a classic of children's literature and fantasy, within which it is widely influential. Blah, 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 blah. My computer just sit still. Plot summary, yeah. That's a big plot summary. Well, anyways, if you want to look it up, A Wizard of Earthsea. Like I said, I think I read this first book, and it was really good from what I recall. I typically read sci-fi, or like combination sci-fi horror, things like that, or Tom Clancy. That's a whole other ballgame. But no, I agree. Like, I'm just saying, if you look into it, if you watch the show, there was social narratives and political agendas. Like, they never intended to make good Lord of the Rings stuff. Like, they could have been given access to everything, and they still would have made garbage, because that was what they intended to make. So, I don't know who's working on the new Lord of the Rings movie. Because that might, be, some sort of relief for it. Kraven the Hunter actually looks pretty cool. Lord of the Rings, The War of War. Yeah, or at least somebody that's it's animated. I didn't know that. So maybe directed by Kenji Kamiyama. Wait a second. Who's this guy? Okay, so I take back. I think it's going to be fantastic. It's probably going to be really good. This dude has directed Ghost in the Shell, Blood the Last Vampire. Well, anything Ghost in the Shell. Like he's good. Okay. Yep. No, it's in good hands. I don't know if it's an anime or not, but now I want to see it. It just says it's an animated film, so I don't know if it's anime, but if it's being directed by this guy, then I'm on board. We got controversy now. Starring Brian Cox, Miranda Otto. Well, you know what? Let's go see if there's even any kind of teasers or anything like that. I would think. I don't know. This is not real. 100%. This is not. I'm pretty sure it's not real. I hate when I'm looking up a movie trailer and you always get one of these, like, I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay, so these are not trailers. I think Kino Check is fake as well. So maybe there's not even like.
Today, we take you on an epic journey through Middle-earth as we talk about the next movie from the fantasy world, The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. The animated film is set to open a new chapter in the popular franchise and takes place far before the well-known trilogy. It's high time we had a closer look at the project. We hope you enjoy our new original. The War of the Rohirrim takes us to an era of conflict and heroism, in which Helm Hammerhand plays a crucial role as the Ninth King of Rohan. Helm reigns during a time in which the realm is fighting against the Dunlendings, a notably fierce race that later supports Saruman during the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Their leader, Lord Freka, requires Helm's daughter, Hera, to marry his son, Wolf, an offense that will eventually result in a bloody war between the clans. In this conflict, an important factor will be a fortress that fans of the Lord of the Rings will probably be familiar with.
These effects for being like what was it, 2001, 2?
Epic battle in the two towers.
Just kind of
but the
insane.
film does not revolve around the two kings only. Their children are also pivotal to the story. On the one side, there's the wild ruler's daughter, Hera, who grows up in the middle of the war and has to become a fearless warrior. On the other side, there's Wolf, the heir to the throne of Dunland, muscular, armed with an axe, and with a scarred face, the main villain of the film. At the past film festival in Annecy, France, a version of the movie was already shown in June, which is why some details about the War of the Rohirrim are known. For example, the culture of the Horsemen will be explored in more detail, which is based primarily on war. Family power structures and fights are the main focus, where honor and loyalty are always considered more valuable than wealth and material possessions. However, supernatural ghost stories should also find their place in the story. For sure, a topic where the animations can show off their full potential. So far released concept art also features Oliphants and orcs surrounding Edoras. There are images of Isengard surrounded by tents and wildfires, as well as many background images of Medusa.
Well, I mean, that was kind of what they were doing in
spectacular scenes in the finished film. By the way, despite
Rings of Power, they did that a lot.
Jackson is not involved. The film exists within Jackson's universe, which is certainly pleasing news for fans of the franchise who are rather disappointed by Amazon's Lord of the Rings series, The Rings of Power.
Okay, that's good.
Comparatively little to do with the cult films. Production of The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim was taken over by New Line Cinema and Warner Brothers Animation and has already been in progress for almost 2 years. The movie is directed by the renowned anime director Kenji Kamiyama, known for his work on popular animes such as Ghost in the Shell and Ultraman. This is his second collaboration with Warner Brothers after previously developing the anime series Blade Runner Black Lotus. But don't worry, The recognition value of the old movies will not be completely lost. Peter Jackson's version definitely served as visual inspiration for many scenes in the new film. Adapting the world for the new animation style was one of the crew's biggest challenges. They worked closely with Daniel Faulkner, the art director of the live-action movies. He helped the team find old models from the original movies and explain their backgrounds. The cast of The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim includes a mix of well-known and lesser-known names.
So one of the big
Brian
reasons
Cox,
why
known from
I
the
see
series
an
Succession,
anime director,
will give his
especially
voice
one
to
who's
King
done
Helm
like
Hammerhand.
really good stuff,
Luke Pasqualino, best known
and
for his role
immediately
as
I'm
Freddie
like,
McClare
okay,
in the
that's
series
good,
Skins,
is
will take on the
because if
role
there's
of
one
Wolf.
place you're not
Likewise
going to
joining
see,
the cast is Sean Dooley, whose voice we recognize from the video game Elden Ring. He will voice Wolf's father, Freka.
I guess,
Similar to the
wokeness
Fellowship of the Ring, the movie starts with an
come into
off-screen
something as if
narration.
it's like
In this case, we
people
hear
who make
Owen,
anime.
again played by Miranda Otto. The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim promises to open an exciting new chapter in the world of Middle-earth. With its dramatic plot, original animation style, and talented voice actors, this movie will hopefully...
Wait, what? They said he was
known and lesser-known names. Brian Cox, known from the series Succession, will give his voice to King Helm Hammerhand. Luke Pasqualino, best known for his role as Freddie McClare in the series Skins, will take on the role of Wolf. Likewise joining the cast is Sean Dooley, whose voice we recognize
their
from the video game
voices, so
Elden Ring. He will voice Wolf's father, Freka. Similar to the Fellowship of the Ring, the movie starts with an off-screen narration. In this case, we hear Owen, again played by Miranda Otto. The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim promises to open an exciting new chapter in the world of Middle-earth. With its dramatic plot, original animation style, and talented voice actors, this movie will hopefully satisfy both old and new fans of The Lord of the Rings.
I'm confused why there's not a trailer yet.
April 12th, 2024. We hope to have a first teaser trailer within the next few months. What is your
Well, this was a
opinion
month
on this?
ago,
Can the universe work as an anime?
and
Or
they
does
just
take it
delayed
too
it,
far
so
away from the look and
I
feel
don't know
of the
if we'll-
franchise?
I
Feel
don't
free
know
to
if we'll
drop
get
us
a
a line
teaser
in the
anytime
comments.
soon. I mean, like I said, my biggest thing is like, okay, I like anime. Like, I typically prefer anime over almost any other media these days because it stays true to either its source or story, or, you know, it doesn't hold anything back. And typically, if you got these Japanese studios involved or directors, you know, from anime doing a project, then you're not gonna have to worry about a lot of woke stuff. Of course. I remember when I couldn't stand anime. And then I realized there was more than Dragon Ball and Naruto. Dune is probably the biggest one for me out of those, because that was already set to come out this year, and it's, you know, it's like a finished movie. There's no reason for it except for they want to be able to have the actors, you know, and staff and stuff be able to do their promotions and everything. So that's definitely disappointing. I guess it gives me time to finally watch the first one. Your tablet is the 1%. What? What are you talking about? Oh, well, plug it in. I didn't even see this. Sony Pictures announced it was delaying Kraven the Hunter, because that actually looked pretty cool. But I didn't actually know when it was coming out. So, either way, that was a little bit of news there, because a couple of those were ones I was interested in. Being a Mission Impossible fan, I had to go over this. Dead Reckoning has launched Mission Impossible movies past $4 billion at the box office. Pretty good news for the franchise overall. So, obviously, you know, I've talked about this on stream before, and on my podcast, Weekly Takes, comes out every Sunday. But Dead Reckoning Part 1, it's there's an Eastern mindset that gets put in the shows that just doesn't translate into my Western mindset, and it feels so disingenuous and fake. And yet they are the least disingenuous media and, art out there right now when it comes to, entertainment medias. They're like the one that hasn't been infected by all the BS. Because they're like, over there, like, we don't give a crap about your narratives. We don't care about your politics or any of that kind of stuff. We're just going to make great stories with great artwork and doesn't consume me. You watch movies and listen to music and stuff. Play video games. Doesn't consume me. Anyways, it's the fact that, like, whereas over here, basically all of our media in some way has kind of been infected by these things. Like, theirs just hasn't, and especially when it comes to anime. There's a reason why, like, manga has taken off, like, as, like, such a big deal over here in the West, is because previous comic book fans are looking for something they can enjoy without having their characters reassigned in some way, without having some political narrative or social agenda pushed on them in their comics, and that the storylines and the writing and even the artwork in a lot of them now is just like complete garbage compared to 5 years ago, 10 years ago, So it's like a lot of people are just kind of looking for somewhere to go where they don't have to deal with that stuff. And then they discovered, manga and anime, which already had like a cult following, but now it's taken off because it's like, it's where they've escaped to. Yeah, so Dead Reckoning has had a little bit of a struggle at the box office, not because the movie is not the best reviewed film of the year by critics and audiences, and it didn't, not as if it hasn't been making money, like pulling in money, but it had its budget was ballooned by 2020 stuff, basically. This movie would not have cost $300 million normally, and its current performance would be kind of considered fine. However, it's slowly but surely continued to chug along, and so the entire franchise now has just barely pushed past the $4 billion mark, which is good, including the $541 earned by Dead Reckoning. And so when you split it up over the entire franchise, which is 7 films now, they make about $588 million per movie, with an average budget of $160 million. Pretty good, not bad. Granted, the average here of the cost would be lower if Dead Reckoning's budget hadn't blown up. So in 2018, Fallout made an impressive almost $800 million, did really well. So the movies typically do, basically you could say they do pretty good. But this one just hit, kind of struggled because of the whole Barbenheimer BS. First of all, Sound of Freedom, Black Adam, and wait, Black Adam came out after the Batman? I could have swore that, maybe I have that backwards. Because remember, the Batman came out in like March. Yeah, either way, yeah, they came out like in a similar, like within like 6 months of each other or something like that. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't go to the movies very often. It was? So, because I remember the Batman came out in like a March or something like that. So Black Adam had to have been like a summer release or later in the fall or something. But the last movies I've seen this movie, this Mission Impossible, I've seen 3 times. Prior to that, I saw the Super Mario Brothers movie. So there was this, then Super Mario Brothers, and there was something just before that, I can't remember. Okay. I didn't see Black Adam, so I don't remember. I just remember the trailers and stuff. And then going back into last year, I don't remember what I've seen last year. Well, I mean, like, I actually don't watch movies, like, at home. Like, ever. I have, like, all of my favorite movies. Well, most of them. There's, like, a couple franchises I haven't bought because I want to wait until I can get them on, like, 4K. But I have a pretty good Blu-ray collection. I have a pretty good... Even if I go back into my DVDs, I got some good stuff. And I just never watch it because if I'm at home, I pretty much watch YouTube. Or... play a game or something, or now I'm doing this or sleeping. So yeah, I actually don't spend a lot of time watching stuff at home, but I do love the experience of going to a movie. So in previous years, I went all the time, but for about the last 5-6 years, there's usually about 3, I'd say about 3 movies, maybe 4 in a year that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go see that. If it's a big deal for me, like Mission Impossible, I'm going to see it multiple times, or Batman, or, something like that. If it's something else, I'm like, oh, cool, the new this thing or that interesting horror movie. Like horror movies, oh God, I love those. I will go see that for sure. Horror movies, not horror movies. But yeah, I don't go like I used to. In previous years, between probably 2003 and 2015, I think I have about 800 to 1,000 ticket stubs. I'm like not even exaggerating. Somewhere in my room, I have like a manila envelope that has like every ticket stub I have from that period. And then somewhere in my TV stand over here or something, I got a bunch more. Yeah, and see, when it comes to superhero stuff, DC is by far my favorite. Like, there are some Marvel things I do like. Like, specifically, I like Tony Stark, like his character. So I was glad they did the whole snap thing with him at the end of Endgame and all that. But overall, I haven't cared about Marvel for a long time. DC, yeah, the Batman was great. Obviously, the Dark Knight trilogy was great. And then there was, of course, the Zack Snyder, Batman vs. Superman and stuff like that. I really like those. I don't care what people say. I thought Batman v Superman was fantastic. Dawn of Justice. Like the portrayal of the character, like, oh, Man of Steel, obviously, I thought he was great, right, as Superman in the first place. And then a few years later, we get, Justice League. Batman vs. Superman. And I think Ben Affleck was a fantastic choice to be Bruce Wayne / Batman, especially for the version they were portraying. Like, kind of a little older and a little more weary of things, like not really wanting to get super involved. I thought he was perfect. And what's her name as Wonder Woman? Well, yeah, there was that. Yeah, the Flash was definitely weird. But yeah, between Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, perfect. Oh my God, I loved the debut of her character too. Not like when they first showed her at the party, interacting with Bruce Wayne. Like, that was cool. But like when it came to showing her as Wonder Woman in that movie. Just that music, that Amazonian style music that came on, and her like sliding in to protect Batman. I was like, bro, what is this? So good. Zack Snyder had a really great vision for that whole universe. Chat has taken a minute to update, looks like. I think everything's good over here. Oh, yeah. No, I'm all good. Stream quality is good. Okay, cool. But yeah, in most ways, I guess if you kind of look at my history, like I've always been a fan of the movies, like cinema in general. I've always been a fan of the industry as a concept. Like obviously like modern Hollywood's got its problems, and obviously there's a lot of people in particular that I don't like, certain people, but I grew up like as a kid going to see movies like Jurassic Park, Star Trek First Contact, or not First Contact, Generations, and like we went to a whole variety of movies when I was a kid. And there was, I think when you're a 4 or 5 year old, 6-year-old kid and you're introduced to some of these things, it leaves a big impact. And then when I came back to seeing movies in the early 2000s, like as a teenager, Star Trek Nemesis was the first movie I saw again. And from that moment forward, my mind was kind of blown by it, right? Because it had been like 10 years since I'd been to the movies. And I see Star Trek Nemesis in theater. And I'm sitting there going, I never imagined anything like this for Star Trek, you know? And so I was kind of blown away by it. And I remember like that night, I was like, I gotta go to the movies as much as possible. This is an experience that I can't like forsake, you know? And sure enough, I did. You know, so many different movies over the years that became like really important to me, like Riddick, you know, the Riddick series, because I saw Chronicles of Riddick back when it came out. I remember seeing Spider-Man 2 and 3. I mean, I even saw stuff like Avatar. You know, everybody makes a big deal of it. You know, at the time, it was kind of a huge deal. You know, just it was kind of mind-blowing back then. But yeah, just a lot of great movie series, individual, you know, movies I saw. Random crap that probably nobody else would have ever seen. I loved it. I didn't care what it was. I was like, I get to go to the movies. And then, yeah, 5 to 10 years ago, things slowed down a little bit because they changed the way they did things. But I do root for, when it comes to like specific franchises, I do root for them to do well, because I'm like, when that's like an example of something I think is good, then I want to see it be successful, you know. So I will like monitor the box office and make sure that they're doing well, you know, that kind of thing. It is usually more fun to go with other people, but honestly, I've done it so much by myself. You know, like I said, probably the majority of the time in that like 10-year period where I was going like every other weekend, probably about 90% of the time I was going by myself. I was like, I didn't care. Like, if you don't want to go, that's your problem. I'm going to the movies. You know, I always made sure people knew, you know, like, hey, I'm going to see this movie. You know, is there a time that will work for you? And you know, every so often people are like, yeah, let's go, and then they don't show up. I'm like, all right, I don't care. I'm going for me. So, and honestly, because I get to sit and just focus, you know, I don't have to like talk through it or eat food and drink. You know, people make it such an expensive thing. I would prefer to like get food after, you know. Like everybody always talks about, oh man, it costs like $100 to go to the movies. I'm like, why? Why is it so expensive? It cost me like $15. But that's because like I just go get my ticket. You know, if anything, I might get a drink. But half the time I'm like, good. I'll get a drink out of the water fountain. I don't care. I'll finish the movie, and then when I'm done, I'm like, cool. Now I want to go out to get something to eat and hang out, think about the movie or talk about it or something. But I don't know, people make it such an expensive experience sometimes too. Oh, that's going to go on for a long time. What's up, Sky? So Stanley Kubrick's $66 million box office hit, and of course that is 2001: A Space Odyssey, is considered the greatest sci-fi movie of all time, followed by Star Wars. And this was done by, this is kind of interesting, AFI started a poll in 2008 and let it run basically for 15 years. Or wait, let me make sure I get that right. Oh, it's 15-year-old. What was their methodology? Either way, this is a little bit better than the one I looked at before that got me copyright claimed. Been good, just been working a lot. Working, streaming, going to the gym. That's like life right now. I go to work, I come home, or I go to work, I go to the gym, come home, and then on the alternating days, I go to work, I come home, I stream. But there was a list that I looked at before, and it was compiled in a totally different way. But they had WALL-E as like the greatest sci-fi space movie of all time. I'm like, bro, really? Like, in the top 3, they didn't have a Star Wars movie. They didn't have 2001: A Space Odyssey. Like, there was so many movies. I'm like, in the top 3, top 5 should have been there, and we're not. And for some reason, WALL-E was the number 1. I was like, okay, it's a good movie. I could imagine it being on this top 50 list, but to have it be above all these movies, no. So I like this one because, in my opinion, 2001: A Space Odyssey is like the greatest film ever made. It's had a lasting legacy and influence on the sci-fi genre with revolutionary effects, iconic imagery, and exploration of AI, human evolution, and technology. And it also inspired George Lucas and paved the way for Star Wars. 15-year-old American Film Institute poll revealed that Stanley Kubrick's critically acclaimed 1960 box office hit is the greatest sci-fi movie of all time, with Star Wars coming in second place. Let me pull this down. So the finalists were assessed by 1,500 leaders in the creative community, including filmmakers, artists, critics, and historians who voted from a selection of 50 nominated movies per genre. Since the poll's results were disclosed in June 2008, the only sci-fi movies nominated were released during or before 2007, meaning modern hits like Arrival, Interstellar, Dune, and Avatar excluded from consideration. Well, we can totally do without Avatar, that's fine. And while these are all fantastic movies, we'll see in the decades to come, like, if they hold up to be, like, important, you know? But yeah, so they had 2001: A Space Odyssey taking the top spot, followed consecutively by Star Wars, then E.T., A Clockwork Orange, The Day the Earth Stood Still, the original 1951, Blade Runner, Alien, Terminator 2: Judgment Day, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and Back to the Future. Alongside Ridley Scott, Kubrick scores 2 movies on the list, so he does score 8. Yeah, it wasn't even nominated for Best Picture in 1969. But George Lucas himself, who obviously his movie is number 2 on the list, he says that 2001 is the far superior film, and of course it is. But filmmaker George Lucas himself would defend such a ranking. The same year that his revolutionary movie Star Wars released in 1977, Lucas stated, "Kubrick made the ultimate science fiction movie, and it is going to be very hard for someone to come along and make a better movie. On a technical level, Star Wars can be compared, but personally, I think that 2001 is far superior." Lucas also revealed in the DVD featurette Standing on the Shoulders of Kubrick, The Legacy of 2001, that 2001 had a profound impact on his approach to sci-fi and named the film as the pinnacle of traditional special effects. So, always good news to me. 2001: A Space Odyssey is, in my opinion, the greatest film of all time. So it should definitely be the greatest sci-fi film of all time. Star Wars being number 2, that's pretty great. I was glad to see that they had Alien and Blade Runner in this top movies as well. So that's pretty cool. Cosmic Traveler is here. How's everybody doing tonight? Who worked today or did something of that caliber? We're not including Agent Tomcat in this discussion. Because it is Friday, and for some people that means it is now the weekend. For some of us, it means this is like midweek. Warrior from Fire worked yesterday. So you were off today? Oh shoot, today is Saturday. I forget because I start the pre-stream, I guess, the night before, and then start the stream the next day. Yeah, currently as opposed to, I always forget about that. So I guess my schedule is actually wrong if you think about it, because I have it set up, I say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday nights at midnight, but technically it's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. So I've been streaming 2 days now. 2 whole calendar days. So I worked yesterday as well. I'm off today, but then I gotta work tomorrow. But yeah. I always think it's funny though, because when you're on social media or anything like that, you see, it's Friday, TGIF. I'm like, that's great. It's just, another part of my work week. Oh, look at this guy. Hired as a freelance writer for Appui today. iAppui. Whatever the heck that is. Monday to Friday, 7:34. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Good consistent schedule. Get off during the day. Have your evening. It's always nice. Day all day, yeehaw. I work whatever day they tell me this week. So, Independent Association of something or other. Sounds great. Would be really nice if they would define that last part for you, though, so that you know what you're doing. Wait, are you allowed to do writing right now? Don't you know they're on strike? I have a forklift. Bro, it told me to hold that message for review. That's funny. I gotta see if it pops up, though. I hit show. My stream on screen is behind. Yeah, my chat box needs to catch up here. There we go. It's a little behind. Yeah, for some reason today, because I started using Pokemon Sleep, so it's actually kind of cool. International Association of Professional Writers and yeah, I think you're on strike, dude. So you just got a job you can't do. Sorry. But I started using Pokemon Sleep, and it's actually pretty cool because it's a whole other method of playing Pokemon. You tell it you're going to bed, and it tracks your sleeping. It listens and tracks movement and all that kind of stuff, essentially. And it'll tell you like what kind of quality of sleep you're getting. Finds out he's on strike on a live stream. Sucks to suck. And I apparently I'm not getting enough sleep because my Pokemon are becoming unhappy with me because they sleep at like when you go to sleep, they go to sleep, right? And as you're sleeping, basically your character is like there's a Snorlax, right? He attracts new Pokemon to your little area there. So when you wake up and you review all your stuff, you're like, oh look, there's new Pokemon here. If I give them like a little snack or whatever that I've earned, they'll stick around and they will become new partners for you to gather berries and stuff to feed your Snorlax. And the thing is, they get tired though. So if you're whatever quality of sleep you're getting is the quality of sleep they're getting. Bro, it doesn't like your messages. It's kind of funny to like log in and oh look, your Pikachu and your Togepi and your Squirtle over here, they're all drowsy and like walking around like they're not getting enough sleep. I'm like, bro, I'm sorry. Like, I'm a night owl, and then I had to get up to go to work today. And then tomorrow, like, I'm gonna stream tonight, and then tomorrow, I'll end up getting up in the morning to go to the gym and start my day. Even though I could technically sleep in, I just don't have that like programming anymore. He's fat. I was like, wow, you're being rude. Are you sure you want to allow this message? Yeah, I think, what did it say? I had, over the first 6 days I had used it, I got like 26 hours sleep or something like that. And so it just wasn't, they weren't very happy with it. Averaging about 6 hours of sleep a night. And it's not even like good sleep, right? Well, I mean, it's okay. But like it'll show you, oh, this is when you were dozing, you know, this is when you were snoozing, and this is like slumbering. You know, it's got these different categories for your sleep. And obviously you want to have like more slumbering with a good amount of snoozing before that. A lot of times I'm getting a lot of dozing sleep without as much I need of the other ones. So I'm like, but I need to play. It's Pokemon, you know. I can play Pokemon on my DS, on my phone. I guess now I can do it while I'm sleeping. I'm like catching Pokemon while I sleep. I didn't know that was possible. Just sleep on the road. I use a sleep cat. Yeah, and I mean, like, that's the thing is it's pretty common. Like, you're gonna have times where you don't get as much sleep as you need. I just found, like, today. So I got up today and I went to work, and I was tired when I woke up, and I was tired the whole day at work. And then I got home, I ate a McChicken sandwich and passed out on the couch, and then I woke up like an hour later tired. I'm tired right now. So I think it was my mom that sent me like a meme that said like becoming an adult is becoming somebody who talks about how tired you are all the time and listens to other adults talk about how tired they are. If you ever dream about a toilet, you need to wake up. Like, and you know, it's funny is I've learned that over the years too. I'm like, I'll wake up because for some reason I was dreaming about like water or the bathroom, and I'll wake up like, I gotta go use the restroom. Sleep cat. Yeah, that became the pinned message. I use a sleep cat. Zage Wolf, what's up, man? It's really late, dude. What are you doing here? Well, and sometimes you also just, you take sleep wherever you can get it. Like if you can close your eyes for 5 minutes, take it. If you're going to take a nap for an hour and a half, take it. So, as the stream title suggests, I've never used Reddit before. Other than like, I'll search some stuff on my phone, and because I don't have the Reddit app, I'll be like, I'll search and be trying to look at it in a browser there, and it'll pop up and be like, oh, you need the browser to continue using this, or I mean the app, and I'm like, oh, well, never mind. Or sign in, which I don't have a Reddit account. Never used it. Like I've used plenty of message boards and forums and stuff before. Well, I'm glad you're so entertained that you're not being productive. That's usually a good sign for me. But I've used plenty of message boards and forums before. I used to spend ungodly amounts of time on them, but I never really I didn't even know Reddit was like any kind of a thing when I was younger, right? And I've still never used it because honestly, to me, from what I see, it's a lot of just like bickering with people, stupid online drama. But it is a source for entertainment. And so I figure now that I'm doing the streaming and stuff, maybe occasionally I'll just go pull up some r/something and see what we find. Could be interesting. Gonna have to dislike the live stream. Well, you know what? A dislike is still engagement, sir. What the heck? Are you using speech to text? I like the place I sleep. Woo. What? Sleep where? So on UFOs and cryptids have been like a subject on this channel just because it's fun. Sit and watch some of the story, channels on YouTube and all that. Or watch like crazy video compilations, whatever. So I decided to go into r/UFOs, and I honestly still don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, look, there's like subjects here and stuff, but it seems a little bit different than what I'm used to from like regular forums. But I did pull this up. I thought it was kind of interesting. Numerous pilots are reporting strange aircraft and lights, and this is today, or the 24th, excuse me. Numerous pilots are reporting strange aircraft and lights that disappear, then reappear, move left and right near the Colorado, Nebraska, Kansas borders. Denver Center is taking the reports to pass on. The words UFO were also used. I have recorded the audio between Denver and a few pilots. Frequency, blah, 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 blah. And let me see. So I guess I click on this. Discussion, right? Okay. So he says, it took me a while of digging to find the recordings mentioned in this. Mind you, I never listened or have listened to air traffic before, so it took me to find a bit. So that's kind of cool. I don't know if we want to pull that up, but... Oh, you'd have to put the date and everything. Crossing thousands of light years of space to make some stupid... Oh, you must be playing Elite Dangerous. So this is what I was talking about before. When we had the objects that were shot down over the U.S. and Canada, the balloon, first of all, the Chinese balloon that drifted over us, and then there were other objects that randomly got shot down, but they still never identified or found wreckage from. But they adjusted their radar settings, and suddenly we were detecting a rash of stuff. And now we don't hear about it anymore. was like a year ago now. So it's like either they were like, oh, we don't want to detect this stuff anymore, so we're going to turn down our detection settings, or they're just not reporting. Because back when, just after the Chinese balloon, they were like, oh, well, yeah, I agree on that, because it did, sort of. But the problem was it was presented to us in a way that it was kind of made out to be a joke. Because after the balloon got shot down, they went and started adjusting their radar detection, because then suddenly for like weeks, now it was like, oh, there's this thing flying over Michigan or Montana or whatever, and they chase that down and shoot it down. There's this thing flying over here, they chase that down and shoot it down, you know? And so I think once they did that and the public became aware of it, it became like a joke. Like, how incompetent are we that we're chasing down these random little things that don't make any sense and shooting them out of the sky with $200,000 missiles. And then it was like, okay, cool. The public thinks it's silly now, so we can just kind of move on from it. Because this is, this was this year. Adjusted radar settings likely behind rash of unknown object detections. Senior military officers and civilian advisors within the Department of Defense say the recent rash of unidentified object discoveries may be the result of new settings applied to airspace monitoring radars. Pentagon officials, including the commander of NORAD, or North American Aerospace Defense Command. He said on 12 February, the USA and Canada increased the sensitivity settings of their radar network following a multi-day incursion into US and Canadian airspace by a Chinese surveillance balloon during the first week of February. Shoot, I forgot that was this year. I thought it was a year ago now. Radars essentially filter out information based on speed, says NORAD Commander General Glenn Van Herk. You can set various velocity gates that allow us to filter out low speed clutter. And there's additional filters for object size and altitude, all intended to keep benign objects like wildlife or clouds from triggering alerts. However, in the aftermath of the Chinese balloon incident, NORAD has adjusted those gates to report objects previously filtered out. With some adjustments, we've been able to get a better a categorization of radar tracks now, and that's why I think you're seeing these incidents overall. So, in the week following the balloon incident, 3 objects have been detected and shot down over the USA and Canada, one off the coast of Alaska, second over Canada's Yukon territory, and then a third near the two countries' border, Lake Huron, and they have revealed little about the object's characteristics. So basically, let me get my earbuds untangled. So basically, it was like there was a need for, basically for defense. They're like, oh crap, we just had this balloon float over us for like a week. Are they sending other stuff over? So they tune down their radar, to find smaller objects that are moving slower. And so they suddenly start detecting a bunch of stuff all over the place and shooting it down, but never really getting any good information on it or whatever. And then kind of moved on after that, because for whatever reason we moved on to the next subject. Of course, the next thing to be excited or rage about. But yeah, when it comes to the size of the objects, that he notes that they are very, very small objects that produce a very low radar cross-section. He declines to address the shape of the objects, noting observations have been difficult for pilots. Oh no, I'm reading what you're saying, so I'm just waiting for there to be something for me to chime in on there. Various sources have reported the objects as being cylindrical or octagonal in shape, but that remains unconfirmed. In each case, they spent pretty good money on these Sidewinder heat-seeking missiles. The pilots in each situation felt that that was really unachievable because of the size. They couldn't just use their cannon, and also because of the challenge to acquire it visually because it's so small. They were also going very slow. They're going at the speed of wind, essentially. Yeah, and that's the thing, is like how, like, whether it's a surveillance balloon. Some of these, they said, unlike the surveillance balloon, which is operating at above altitudes used by commercial aircraft, the unidentified objects posed a hazard because they were actually in regular airspace that, like, regular planes and stuff fly through. And he notes the small objects may not be sinister activity by a foreign power. We also know that a range of entities, including countries, companies, and research organizations, operate objects at these altitudes for purposes that are not nefarious, including legitimate research. Yeah, but if that's the case, why would you shoot them down? So I doubt that they're any of those things, because typically if it's one of those things, you're either going to receive warning of it, or they're going to have a permit or something for it, right? So it's going to be sanctioned. So why would you be shooting it down? 99 red balloons. Yeah. But yeah, I like that. Makes you wonder how many of these spy balloons have gone across the country. Probably a bunch, honestly. Because we either just weren't paying attention, or they were like, whatever, we're not going to make a big deal out of it. They are permitted to be shot down. But yeah, more than likely, if that Chinese spy balloon was able to drift across the entire country, and supposedly, not political talk or anything, but like supposedly there was even some of these incidences during the Trump administration, but they were also kind of ignored as well, because the Chinese spy balloon that got all the way to the Atlantic, they were tracking it since before it passed by Hawaii. They just kind of let it come over, So there's probably plenty that we've never detected, and there's probably others that we have, and they just were like, whatever. Which is kind of sus. I'm interested in the cylindrical tic-tac objects, though, that pilots... let me see if they've... Oh, dang it. I didn't want to click on that. Oh, I did want to click on that. In fact, that was on purpose. Newly reported UFOs display unusual flight performance capabilities. U.S. intelligence. So these were among the same things. Yeah, the bomb thing. That's kind of scary, actually. But after analyzing some 366 newly identified instances of unidentified aerial phenomenon, U.S. intelligence officials have determined roughly half to be normal aerospace clutter, okay, while an unspecified number suggests unusual flight performance capabilities. And I'm not going to create an account for this thing, so I'll just go back. But that was the case with some of these, the ones that were seen earlier this year, is that the pilots, they couldn't figure out what these were. They're not able to categorize how they stay aloft. And some of them did not have a balloon or anything like that. It could be a gaseous balloon inside a structure, or it could be some type of propulsion system. The pilots that were shooting the one down over Alaska, if I remember right, were saying they couldn't figure out like how it was maneuvering like it was. It was moving too quickly, and at its size, it didn't have any like visible propulsion system. So again, I'm not saying they're aliens, but they're aliens. Cheeto in the door latch. Yeah, I mean that's true. If you think about it, when was this system supposed to be tested? Because it's never happened. So a second. Sorry, I had a message. Yeah, when was it supposed to have been tested? Never. We've obviously never had a nuke launched our way or an ICBM of any sort or any kind of missiles. So it is really just, well, we think it'll work. And, you know, I always talk about like space, you know, because I'm a sci-fi fan and you know, you watch these movies and stuff and you think about like space battles and invading star systems and stuff, right? Space is really big. So the only way that you could blockade something is with like thousands or millions of vehicles, or you have to have really, really, really good detection systems. And if you shrink that down to like our scale, we're talking our airspace. Our airspace is really big. You know, there's no way, like, yeah, we can have radars and all this kind of stuff, but come on, man. There's going to be stuff that slips by. I mean, obviously, we had a Chinese spy balloon that drifted over, and when we adjusted our radar to find more stuff like that, we started finding a crap load of stuff. So there's all kinds of crap out there that we're probably not paying attention to and could be a threat. We wouldn't know. Technically, that balloon that drifted over us could have been something that carried an EMP or something like that. So, yeah, it really is all just theory, and we kind of hope that we catch something in time, you know? Quite interesting. And these kinds of reports here, I don't know why they brought up the UAP stuff here, but these kind of reports are always fascinating to me because it's a little different than, oh, I was in the woods and I saw a light and I have memory loss because I was probably doing shrooms at the same time. It's legitimate, like you're listening to these reports happening in real time. So, you know, their air traffic control or military or whatever it is, there's something going on out there, you know, and this to me is more interesting. I mean, the other stories are fun, but underdeveloped as a nation, their enemies have zero-turn propulsion and anti-gravity. Look, my lawnmower has zero-turn propulsion. I don't know about the anti-gravity. But, I mean, it is interesting, the idea that there could be vehicles or drones or weapons or whatever it is out there that have capabilities that we just can't explain. I mean, it goes pretty fast. Oh yeah, yours can. Well, when lawnmowers can fly, you know, the funny thing is, there was a lot of that stuff that was envisioned a long time ago. There were like lawnmowers that had like AC units built in and all that kind of stuff. That was supposed to be like the norm in the future, according to like the 50s or something, the 60s. There's a video of flying. Oh, really? He says, I love that video, but I don't know. Shadowy. Oh, it's a meme? Oh, I know what this is. Wee. Is there sound? Why is there no sound? Oh my god. Yeah, I would say the sound is the copyright song. Yeah, I heard it for about 5 seconds. Like, oh, that's funny, but we're done. It won't. It wouldn't be a strike. It's just a claim. Half my streams have been claimed. The most American Swedish song ever. Oh no! Dang man. Oh my god. The video where it got okay. Why would we be? I almost I almost typed guy punches a lawnmower. I'm sure there's video of that.
Let it go, Tonks. Let's go. The other dog's coming.
It's so confused. He's like, bro, what just happened, man?
Let it go, Tonks.
Like, flap.
The other dog's coming.
Hilarious. Like, bro, all right, we doing this? Punch it in the face. It just stands there for a second, like, did that guy just punch me in the face? They're not used to that. They're used to like doing the kicking and stuff. Yeah, and the strength that they kick with is great. They can like disembowel you.
Kangaroos are one of the most iconic animals.
It's very quiet. I
In
don't know.
Australia. Their cute appearance and bouncy gait have made them a popular symbol of the country. But don't be fooled by their cuteness.
But don't mess with them.
Kangaroos are actually quite
Like,
dangerous.
how
While
that
they may look
kangaroo get
soft
so
and
damn
cuddly,
muscular?
They can pack a powerful punch with their hind legs. They have sharp claws that can do some serious damage, and they are also
Oh, really? Is that it?
fast and agile, making them difficult to
That
escape.
that makes sense. Like if kangaroos are used to dingoes, which would obviously be something they have to worry about, they probably just kill them on sight.
Quickly turn into aggression if they feel threatened in any way. They can be very aggressive and are known to attack humans and other animals
Damn.
if they feel cornered, threatened, or if they are protecting their young. So, while kangaroos may be cute, they are also dangerous animals that should be respected. Or, as they like to say in Australia, don't mess with the roos.
Don't mess with
Kangaroos are one
roos.
of the most iconic.
But yeah, that makes sense. If they're used to dingoes, obviously dogs are just like a dingo to them, so they're gonna try and kill them. Because dingo's nasty. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Why would you smell their puke? What the heck? It's worse than gut rot. What the heck? I'm assuming you'd be at like a petting zoo or something. I don't know. It was unavoidable. So yeah, just the smell of kangaroo puke. What? Bro, Reddit's so weird. It's just, that's what you like. You know, that's what... so, like, I just clicked over to the movies. Did I go to movies? I don't know where I went to. Home. Oh, I went to home. I don't know how Reddit works. Okay. I didn't know they ride emu steeds. Yeah, so I'm reading this. Am I watching films wrong? Well, probably, because apparently you don't know how to just enjoy them and whatever. Today I watched 2 films. The first was Seven Samurai. The second was Jack Reacher. Both were a first-time watch for me. Seven Samurai was a beautifully staged, well-crafted film that I felt was overly long and boring at times. My mind drifted in and out as I watched it, 3.5 out of 5. Jack Reacher, on the other hand, was a stylish, well-plotted thriller with a great cast and kept my attention throughout, 4 out of 5. End of story. Sounds like you've summed it up right there. You've explained why you liked one movie better than the other, and these are perfectly legitimate descriptions. So how has this happened? How is it that I think a Tom Cruise starring thriller is, because it's Tom Cruise, better than a masterpiece like Seven Samurai, often referred to as one of the greatest films ever made? Have I just been desensitized by modern films? Is my attention span that bad? I know I shouldn't think too hard about these sorts of things, but it just got me thinking. Do I need to retune my brain in some way? No, it's perfectly well tuned. It's perfectly well tuned. You liked one movie better than the other for specified reasons. I think that's pretty legitimate. Why don't you just accept that? I do. I don't give a crap what people... I'm like, well, I like this better than this. Sorry, the end. But, you know, I think for me, when I read something like this, it's not that they want to discuss the movies. You know? Like, hi, you know, why don't we discuss why Jack Reacher is a great film and why Seven Samurai is considered a great film, but this is, maybe it's not as good as people think it is, you know, whatever. But they can't just say, hey, look, I liked this for this reason, I didn't like this for this reason, and that's it. There has to be, their brain has to be retuned. I don't understand. Oh. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess he got attention for it. Well, he hasn't got any up dutes or down dutes for it. Just comments. I mean, he's gotten attention for 8 hours, but no, what do you call that? No affirmations, you know, with the likes and all that. Look up the video when you find a Reddit for your favorite topic. Oh gosh. But I think for me, it's like when people answer their own question, though. That's the thing. You have answered your own question with the lead up to the question, right? He explains why Seven Samurai. It's beautifully staged, well crafted. He's acknowledging, hey, this was a great movie. You know, I can objectively see why it's so good, or considered to be so good. However, I thought it was kind of boring. You know, like I just couldn't stay awake during it, you know, so it's not for me. Cool. Jack Reacher was all of these things they thought were good, kept his attention. Well, there you go. You're not watching movies wrong. You just have taste. You have a certain taste, and that's okay. You've answered your own question. So Reddit, if I start to explore it for streams, it'll definitely be interesting to me. I don't know if I'll start raging on stream, but sometimes when I read people's stuff on the internet, it annoys me. I look at the movie. There are cases where I agree. Okay, and we're gonna bring up the Star Wars sequels, for instance, which I know you don't like, but just as an example of what you're talking about, there are times where, yeah, I agree. What was it? The Last Jedi had, you know, some like feministy stuff in it with the one lady. I don't remember her name, but she was like she was played by the lady from Jurassic Park. Anyways, and I cringed at that, but I was also able to go, yeah, but you know, whatever. As a whole, the movie was good enough for me. I enjoyed it, right? The problem is when they take like a good property and they basically, you know, kind of like I was talking about with the Rings of Power thing. They never intended to make something good. There was never an intention to be like, we're gonna honor the material, or we're at least gonna be inspired by it to make something cool. It was literally just a platform to push agendas throughout the whole thing without the redeeming qualities of being cool or entertaining in some way. So if there's enough of the redeeming quality, I can overlook the stuff you're talking about, right? I can be like, yeah, you know, that's there, but this other stuff was like way cooler, so I'm able to accept that. There's a lot of content these days, or a lot of movies and shows and stuff, where that's not the case. There's not enough of the good stuff to let me look past that. Because, you know, there's always been some level of social agenda stuff out there. That's not new. It's just that in the past, stuff was also just made to be good entertainment, too. Like Star Trek. Star Trek has always had some level of social agenda stuff in it, but it was also presented in a more intelligent fashion than stuff does now, where they just try and shove it down your throat. And the show was made so well that you could enjoy it all, even with there being occasional things that you disagree with, you know. Well, no, I like it because they were cool sci-fi movies that had interesting lore and universe, and, you know, they weren't quite as cringy, in my opinion, as the original Star Wars movies. But yes, they also just avoided being political until you started getting the TV shows and stuff where they did that.
Water's refreshing. I usually like to ensure the pH of the water is strictly 7, sometimes 8 if I'm feeling a little more alkaline. Anything 6 or below is a no-go. I check the acidity with an electronic pH meter just to be sure. You want a nice, crisp, balanced flavor,
Oh
so
my
no
God.
Dasani. I'd recommend Aquafina for a beginner's water if you must go bottled, but honestly, room temperature tap water through a filter is the way to go. Then you get all the minerals. Now, glass shape is important. You can either go tall or you can
Oh
go
my
wide,
God.
call them verties or
I
hori's,
feel like
vertical
this
or
is-
horizontal. I like to go with a hori because
I haven't even
see the water
experienced Reddit, and I
between
feel
sips.
like this is
looking at it
accurate.
half the pleasure. I also always do throat massages and exercises to make sure you get maximum travel velocity down the throat. Where are you going? Not again.
Wow.
All right, my turn. I play a
Oh, great. I can't play Star Wars. Ugh. I hate YouTube. I've already had
All right,
streams
my
taken down
turn.
twice now
I
that I had to, like, well, I mean, like, blocked momentarily until I got off of certain content. Like the other day, I was literally just watching. Yeah, well, Twitch is terrible, so. And my entire channel and brand is on YouTube. I don't want anything to do with Twitch other than just I stream there from my Xbox. Now, if I was on Rumble, you can watch. Like I was watching somebody on Rumble. They were literally just sitting there watching crap from Netflix, like watching Breaking Bad and stuff on Netflix. And their Rumble didn't care, but I also don't really want to be on Rumble for my normal stuff. What in the heck? How to promote OF on Reddit? Anyways, I think that was the video you were talking about, right? Before and after you discover the right. Like I said, I haven't even really used Reddit, and that seems pretty accurate. Obviously, yeah, like Warrior from Fire said, it's basically just attention seeking or validation. That was what you said, right? Yeah, I find a lot of Reddit is just people needing validation for their own way of life. Yeah, I mean, like if you have an opinion or a viewpoint or a way of doing things or whatever, then hey, just own it and be cool with that. You know, people are more respectful of that than you just like needing their validation for stuff. What film made you say, holy shit, there's still an hour left? What? Correct, but it's an epic elevator in a mall in the 80s. Pearl Harbor. I was waiting for the credits, for the end credits, and suddenly realized there was 1.5 hours left of the movie. Hey guys, am I weird because I enjoy eating food? Where did you drop the link? Because YouTube doesn't allow them in the chat. Well, unless yeah. I actually looked into it before. Can you send it to me on Instagram? Because then I can just copy and paste it. What the heck? Yeah, because I thought that I could go into a setting in like my YouTube chat settings and allow links, but they just block them by default. Unless it's me. Don't know what the heck that was about. Okay. The Great Emu War.
Hey kids, today I'm going to talk about the Great Emu War. So here's what happened, right? Our story begins in Australia, home of the upside down whopper. The year is 1932. A very large chunk of the country's population lives on homesteads, just putting seeds in the ground and waiting for food to show up, you know. But their lives are hard. Firstly, Australian soil kind of blows. It's pretty terrible for farming. Like on a scale from Margaret Thatcher's corpse to Octomom, Australia's soil is a solid Hillary Clinton in fertility. Secondly, the whole Great Depression thing's going on, which automatically makes makes everything suck worse. And third, and possibly most important, is the emu infestation. These gangly dill holes were all over the place,
Oh,
just
gosh.
walking on crops and crapping on crops and crapping on walks and cropping on craps and crabbing on docks and
What
capping
the
on the rocks. You get the idea. So the government evaluated the situation. They were like, well, let's see. Let's weigh our options here. As a government, we could start spending even more money to secure the welfare of our citizens through this socioeconomic crisis. Money that we barely even have. Or, alternatively, we could just start fucking slaughtering emus, so at least it looks like
We
we're
could
helping.
just
So that's what they did.
fucking
Major
slaughtering
G.P.W.
emus.
Meredith of the Australian military was put in command at the operation, and he had a total of 2 soldiers at his disposal, each of which had a light machine gun. Additionally, the
Oh
pair
my
was given a
God.
total of 10,000 rounds of ammunition to be spent on taking out emus. So on paper that sounds like a piece of cake. They're basically just big turkeys on stilts, so how hard could it be? Well, apparently, pretty frickin' hard. Let me learn you kids a thing or two about emus. First of all, emus are tough as hell. Their bodies are basically like meat-laden tanks. They can definitely take a bullet or
Meat-laden
three
tank.
and
I
still
love it.
keep running long enough to get away. Secondly, these fuckers have tactics. Like guerrilla warfare, it ain't got shit on emu warfare. They start out in a big herd or flock or pod, I don't really know. Let me Google it. Okay, a group of emus is technically called a mob. So you got a big
That sounds
mob of
about
emus,
right.
right? And as soon as they sense danger, they break up into a bunch of little mobs and start scattering in every direction. So if you're spraying them down with a machine gun, you can't just whip it around all over the place. You have to focus your fire on one group at a
Ding, ding,
time,
ding,
meaning
ding.
most of the others could get away pretty easily. I don't know if they had like a huddle beforehand or if this is just some coincidental product from their ridiculous bird minds, but it was effective either way. So between these two things, taking out the emus ended up being a huge struggle. Here's the story on what happened. So the crew went out in search of emus. The first time they found a mob, they started shooting before the guns were in range, so most of the emus got away. The
Dummies.
second time, they waited until the emus were closer, but then the gun jammed, so most of the emus got away.
Oh,
And this sort of
gosh.
pattern went on for a while. At one point, they tried getting on the back of a truck first so they could chase down the
Wait,
mob,
wait,
but
what's
the
the-
truck wasn't
No,
fast
no, 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 no. I want to see what that says.
getting on the back of a truck
Redrew this piece of shit 3 times as close to a truck as it's gonna get. It's 11 at night. Fucking sue me.
first so they could chase down the mob. But the truck wasn't fast enough to catch up, and the ride was so bumpy that they couldn't aim properly, so most of the emus got away. By the time they got a fourth of the way through their ammo, after 2,500 shots, only 300 or so had been killed, which is tiny compared to the 20,000 birds said to be roaming the outback.
Good
At
God.
this point, they were like, alright, if I have to look at one more of these Jimmy-legged Big Bird wannabes, I'm gonna start screaming, so you know what? Fuck it. Let the farmers handle it. Then the farmers were like, hey, jackholes, we're still starving out here. You still haven't
We're
given us
still
the
starving.
subsidies you promised. We had to feed the kids fucking dingo meat, which, you know, it's a nice change of pace to have the kids eating the dingoes for once, but that's beside the point. Could
Dingo
you dicks
meat.
keep at least trying to help us? Thanks. The guys were like, alright, don't get your bogans in a bundle. We'll keep going if only to
Bogans.
prove a point. So they kept going, just finding mobs, thinning them out slightly, rinse and repeat, until finally they only had like 100 bullets left. In total, the unit only had 986 confirmed kills.
Dang.
Some emus might have also died from their wounds after the fact, but still,
Tell
a
my
very
wife I
large
said
portion of the
quack.
hordes
What
was
is
still
this?
alive. So the military was forced to surrender for real this time. Yes, that's right, kids. The emus won the war. Of course, their victory didn't last too long, because after the failed operation, the government put out a bounty on the emus, and that worked pretty well. Something like 50,000 bounties ended up being cashed out over 6
Dang.
months in 1934. So the lesson here, kids, is that if you want to commit mass murder, don't crowdfund. Crowdsource. Anyway, till next time, I'm
Don't
Simon, and
crowdfund.
thank you for watching.
Crowds. I like it. That's funny. Did you guys like how the emus had people feet? What? My mouse is acting up. Hang on.
For once, but that's so most of the emus got away.
Oh, they did. Weird. Oh, let's see what we got here. So this is the what film made you say holy there's still an hour left, right? I was watching the Justice League for the second time a couple months ago, and there was quite a few scenes that I didn't remember, but I'd only seen it once. And about halfway through, I started thinking I've been seeing it a long time. I then realized I was watching the Zack Snyder version that was 4 hours long. Back to it's 80s synthwave playlist, Undercover in Paradise. So like, you know, if you were an undercover cop, like Miami Vice style or something, with a badass pink Lambo. Jurassic World Dominion felt like it was 6 hours long to me. I heard that about Jurassic World Dominion, and I loved the first 2 Jurassic World films, and I didn't see anything wrong with the third one. I just, for some reason, didn't go see it, and so I haven't seen it since. But I have heard that it just feels very long. Oh no. This is kind of embarrassing, but I saw Titanic in the theater and I got so caught up in the love story that when they hit the iceberg, I had to remind myself, oh yeah, this is the Titanic. So with 2001: A Space Odyssey, I say while you're watching it, I guess my experience, while you're watching it, it feels long, but when it's done, it feels like it was quick, because I feel like there's so many like long panning shots. You know, there's the music. There's a lot of expanse in the movie, which is good. That's part of what makes it great. A lot of expanse with music filling the void, and so it can make it feel very long. Like certain scenes or acts of the movie feel very long, but when it's all done, when it concludes and you reach the finale of it, you're like, it's like it was all wrapped up really nice, and so it doesn't actually feel like it was dragged out. Like, yeah, you could definitely go for more. What the heck? Back when that Pearl Harbor movie came out, I was having a conversation about it with a group of classmates. Some had already seen it and some hadn't. Someone mentioned something about Japan bombing Pearl Harbor, and this one dude hadn't seen it yet, got really salty, and stormed off in a huff after complaining about spoilers. What? You know exactly what the movie is. I don't know, because after when I finish the stream, I'm probably going to sleep. I might be doing an earlier stream tomorrow, possibly, depending on how the day goes. But because I do have some people that have said, you know, the streams are late. Obviously, I do them about midnight, and so sometimes they just can't be here. And they've been here 4 streams, but then, you know, they have other stuff going on. I keep the time that I do because if I happen to work nights, I know I'll still be able to get home and get on about midnight. If I do daytimes or early in the evening, there's always the risk that if I have a schedule, because I want to have a schedule for people, that I'll end up scheduled for that, for work. So, but tomorrow I might actually try like an earlier stream. Like Indigo at night, but it's daytime. So, like just a random one for a little bit at some point, see if people can come in or whatever. And I'm still gonna do the nighttime one tomorrow. But yeah, the staying up till 2 or 3 in the morning thing for the streams. By the time I'm done, I'm like, okay, I need to sleep. Indigo at bright. What the heck? Unfortunately, I am asleep now. All right, see you, traveler. I'm sure I'll hear from you later. Traveler is actually my brother. So now they just start talking about Titanic and stuff. I still need to see this movie, Parasite. Parasite in a good way. The tone shift about halfway through the movie, I was entranced. That would be cool. Wait, what did this guy say? Wakanda Forever. That movie just wouldn't stop. You were warned. It wasn't called Wakanda for 90 minutes. That's pretty good. I don't know. So like Reddit, I'm used to like the classic message board or forum format where like, okay, you have the original topic and then you have all the comments that come after that, you know, and it's like there's like the boxes all the way down. You got somebody's avatar with their little signature and all that kind of stuff. That was what I was used to, right? This looks like it's more threaded, but not like in the same way. It's very different. Should I don't know. Oh, this is some of the UFO stuff I was looking at. Former White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, I wasn't on the alien portfolio, UFOs. During a recent podcast interview, the former White House Press Secretary was asked about how privy she was to confidential information regarding UFOs, and her response included 2 points that are key to communicate to skeptics. Number 1, the need to know security clearance. This point comes up quite often regarding how many people need to keep it quiet. If the government had UAP, NHI crafts and technology, it is a very small select of people. Even majority of government officials with top secret clearance may never get access. Okay, that makes sense. Number 2, Psaki clearly indicates she wasn't included on the alien UFO portfolio, which is very different from saying something like, no, there isn't one. I will say I had a lot of access to classified information, but there's this thing called need to know. If you don't need to know, you don't necessarily have access to it. I wasn't on the alien portfolio UFOs. I hope this is something folks can find interesting. For a majority of this community, this is common knowledge, but now that we're having conversations with normies, I feel this is a good tidbit to share. That is kind of interesting, because it's like a non-denial that there's like some sort of classified portfolio on aliens or UFOs. That's definitely the stuff of conspiracy theorists, where you're like, but she didn't say there wasn't one. So like you hear that and you're like, so you're saying there's a chance. So what I'll have to do is like off stream at some point, I'll have to sit and like kind of go through the topics and kind of look at them and like how I want to read them or whatever, like what format to use for all that. And then I could probably start picking a topic and use it a little bit more for streams. But yeah, I've never used Reddit. Like I said, the access on the phone is dumb because you either have to have the app or log in. And of course I don't have an account, so you can't really just view it. Whereas on desktop, you can just view them. That's weird to me. So whenever I see like a Reddit link or a post or whatever, and I click on it just for a moment, like, cause I'll search something like something about a car, right? Something about my car that needs to be fixed or a problem, right? And the search will pull up Reddit links, and I'll be like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll look at that, see what this experience is. So I'll open it and I'll see like the initial question or whatever, but all the other things you have to like log in or open the app or something. So, not very useful if you're not a Redditor. But here on desktop, you can view it all. It's very strange to me. What the heck? Looks like a cat of some sort. Yeah. It's like a jaguar. Or a panther. Oh, he's gonna be a big boy. That's cool. r/facepalm. Like, that could be a cool subreddit to look at. not necessarily to participate in. Huh. I don't know. Also, Reddit is also, there's gonna be a lot of weird political stuff. So. Huh. Question. WTF is that supposed to mean? What should cost less, a gallon of gas or a gallon of milk? Yes or no? Huh? I mean, I would say yes. Like, they should just both cost less. Yeah, so this is a weird subreddit, so I don't know if that would be something to do on stream. That's the other part too, is like, so I'm more accustomed to like 4chan as well. Like I browse 4chan all the time. I don't think I would want to bring up 4chan on stream. But even Reddit, I feel like there's going to be a lot of stuff that I don't necessarily want to have on stream. We'll see how that goes. Oh, this happened just recently. But this is from 4 years ago. People in LA every time it rains.
What? What is that? Is that LaCroix? Why is LaCroix falling out of the sky? Was that a sky earthquake? I gotta tweet about this.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because they just had like that tropical storm or whatever that hit over there, and that seemed to be the reaction. Does he still make content? Because I haven't. He's been around forever. I haven't watched. Oh, 10 days ago. 2 weeks ago. Okay. So I guess he still does stuff. When someone asks to schedule a meeting for something that doesn't need one.
Hey, could we schedule a meeting to talk about this thing? Can't we do this over email? I think it's something we could discuss over email. No, see, I think a meeting would be better. Why? Oh, it's because I hate you. I don't value your time. We all as human beings have a finite amount of time on this planet, and every minute of our lives is precious. And I want to waste as many of those minutes as humanly possible because I don't respect you or your life. Oh. So how about 9 p.m. on a Saturday?
Hurricane Hillary, not a single casualty, but a huge spike in self-cancellation in the air. Well, you know, it's California. So he's doing board game reviews? I mean, has he always done that? I don't know. I've only ever seen his little skits. Oh, this looks good. Oh, it's part 2.
All right, traveler, we've made it to town.
Where's the first video? Whatever. I'm watching this one.
Why don't we go grab a bowl of kook pop, and then after that, we'll go find some side quests.
Excuse me, sir. Can you help me? I lost my cat.
Well, you're in luck, kid. The traveler here is great at finding things, aren't you, traveler? You'll find your kitty cat in no time.
Are you sure?
Sure, I'm sure. The traveler here is the nicest hero around. Show him your winning smile, traveler. Doesn't that warm your heart?
He's kind of scary.
I guess he can be a little intimidating. Okay, I got an idea.
That does not help.
Now go out there and find that cat, traveler. Well, I tried.
That's why I like the ones they eventually started putting where you could like have your helmet off for like gameplay or for videos. Because, you know,
Oh,
if you
thank you, Mr. Traveler. Here, have some kimchi.
Oh, I know that look. You want some more, don't you, Traveler? And some cold water to wash it all down.
Oh, gosh.
Doesn't that hit the spot?
Yes, delicious. This video was sponsored by Black Desert Online.
But yeah, there's like so many like video games where when you think about the scenario, like would your character really just be wearing a helmet all the time? Some crazy headdress or whatever. So it's kind of nice to for the ones that did start giving the option where you could turn it off. So like you're wearing it, you're getting the bonuses, but you can also turn the visual off because it kind of makes sense. I would. He's like, yes, I would. Everywhere I go, I just wear my Batman cowl. Oh, this will be good. Yeah, we've all played some TCG.
All right,
Batman
this is your
does.
first game, so I'll go first just to show you how to play. Okay? I play Clovis Clovenhoof and Buffalong Bill. They're best friends, so they give each other 50 cow cores and... oops, I already won. What? Okay, pretend I didn't
Oops,
do that.
I already
I'll
won.
just play Clovis Clovenhoof. Go ahead. Okay, I play Baby Punchable Cow, and I put 1 cow core on it. All right, and then I attack. Got it. It's time for the Farm Flash step. What is that? I get to play a Farm Flash card in the Flash window before I block, so I play Cow Jumps Over the Moon. So your Baby Punchable Cow starts
Oh my God,
to
this
jump.
is so true.
Did you set a trampoline card? What is that? Okay, well, without it, your Baby Punchable Cow has nowhere to land, and it dies. When could I even played that? Oh, during the Farm Flash step. The Flash window before the Flash window. What is a Flash window? It's a period of time that takes place before or after an action where players can play a card. So a Farm Flash step is the Flash window before a Flash window. By the way, you asked what a Flash window is, right? Yes. Great. I play my Bovine Burst card. What is a Flash window? A miserable little pile of secrets.
Oh my
The burst
God.
condition is play this card when your opponent asks what a Flash window is. That's incredibly specific. And that lets me win the game. Of course. And since I won 2 games in a row, I can play another Bovine Burst card 3rd time's the farm. I won 2 games in a row, so I win the next game too, even before we started. Yeah, I think I'm done playing. Okay, but that means I get to do my forfeit Flash step. I said I'm done playing. That's the Flash window that takes place after you forfeit. I'm leaving the table. I still have more cards to play. Leave me alone. I still have more cards to play.
This video was sponsored by
I'm leaving the table. It is pretty true though. Like you you become like so like accustomed to the game, you know, all the like intricacies and the random, you know, crap in it, and then you introduce somebody else to it and you just you feel kind of bad. It's like, oh, this poor person, they don't have a clue. Here we go. Is this the same thing or is this gonna be
Okay, so let's go through the card steps. Okay. First step is the start step. Since it's the first turn, you don't do the start step. Why is there a start step then? Well, sometimes you do moo effects, resolve cattle battle results, or damage a cow if it has mad cow disease. What? Don't worry about it. Okay, next is the cow core step. Sure. Since you're the first player,
Oh, better
you don't
go
do the
easy
cow
on
core
'em.
step. What? Why? Because it's the first turn. And you're the first player. Then why are you telling me? Now the draw step. Draw a card. Okay. Now the come home cow cores step. All your cow cores come home. But I don't have any cow cores yet. Because you're the first player.
Not looking
Can I
forward to it?
do anything? Yeah, you can play a card in the main move step. Okay. But you can't attack in the attack step. What? First player, sorry. Now
What?
the hat step. Okay. What the? You can't do the hat step.
I just want to do something.
First player can't cry
That's-
during the cry step.
I just want to do something right. And honestly, like when I was getting back into Magic back in like 2018 or whatever, because I had played it way back when I was a teenager, but like when I was getting back into it, that's how it would feel a lot of times. You'd be playing against people that had these like custom decks they built and all these mechanisms they knew how to trigger and all this kind of stuff, and you're just kind of sitting there like, I just want to do something. Yeah, I mean, like, I like to teach people stuff, but you also, there's also that, like, are they going to actually stick around? You know, because you get all excited. People will get really excited to, like, learn a new game, and you're like, cool, we're going to introduce them to this new game. And then you'll start teaching it to them, and you're like looking at them, you're like, this poor person. Do they enjoy this?
Only I can.
Why is there a cry step?
So you can irrigate the grass cards for the gray step.
This is ridiculous.
Well, I can irrigate them. You're the first player.
Oh my god!
You have an eyedropper?
Oh my god.
This video is sponsored by Battle Spirit Saga, and they've said.
So it's very simple. You roll 8 dice, and the 8
You
dice
roll
have
8
different
dice.
sides. Animu, Geomu, Elecmu, Denmu, Hydemu, Paimu, Crymu, and Omni, Oxenfree.
Okay.
You don't need to know the names. You
okay.
can just look at the colors.
And then why did you tell me that?
If you don't like what you roll, you can do a mulligan and
Just
re-roll
infinite
some.
screw you
Okay,
combo. Yeah.
Sure.
Now you can use your dice to buy more dice.
Okay.
To buy a dice that costs 2 black, you can use any 2 dice. But to buy a dice that costs 2 white, you need to use 2 of the same dice.
Oh my god.
What?
Okay, here's a handy way to remember. Black, ack. That means I can use any 2 dice. White, I guess I have to use 2 of the same dice.
Oh, I
That-
hate when
that
people
sounds
do
like
those
it should
things.
be reversed.
And if it's a colored dice cost, you use that color.
Sure.
Then, once you buy 27 dice, you roll them all.
Oh my
And
god.
then you combine them into one giant dice.
Isn't this a card game?
Roll that dice and count up the sides, and that's how many dice you can roll for the card buying
I'm
phase.
gonna go home now.
Oh, nice, 33.
So here's the card game that uses dice.
Shit.
Hey, where are you?
Sorry, I'm busy. Busy with what?
I'm starting to wonder, like, if he actually made, like, a cow
What?
card game, and
Dad, I don't
that's what
exist
he's using.
anymore. I can't go.
This is your birthday party.
This is your birthday. Let's see, board game. So that's not the cow game. This is probably more of the cow game. Yeah, I'm thinking he might have ended
All
up
my
creating
turn.
a whole game
I
with
played
this.
Buffalong Bill, and that's not even a card I made up. That's just a real card. Then I'll start with Clovis
just a real
Clovenhoof,
card.
because your Buffalong Bill is a holy Holstein type. I can then play Divine Bovine Clovis Clovenhoof. Okay, I'll attack that Clovis. Which one? The second Clovis. I don't know which one you're talking about. Okay. The Divine Bovine Clovis Clovenhoof. Thank you. And then I'll play Mule-wielding Milk Lord Dinah, Won't You Blow Your Heifer Horn? Is this really the name that... Okay, it is. Well, I'll play that. Play what? Mule-wielding Milk Lord Dinah, Won't You Blow Your Heifer Horn? Just needed you to be clear. Okay. I played Glorious Mega President Glorious Mega President Aberhoof Longhorn's Golden
Aberhoof.
Baseball Address 7 years ago. Our fathers brought forth What are you doing? on this countenance
What are you
a
doing?
Moo Nation conceived in liberty. What?
That's the
We're not playing
fucking-
this anymore. And dedicated to the proposition that all cows are created
Enough! This video is sponsored by Battle Spirit Saga, the new competitive trading card
That
game
is
from
true,
Band.
though. I really enjoyed Metal Gear Acid, the TCG version of Metal Gear for the PCP. That's the PCP. Wow. The PSP. That's what Metal Gear Acid was? It was a trading card game? Huh. That's pretty cool. Get through challenges, get through the game without killing. Well, and that's kind of similar to, like, different methods of victory in a lot of other TCGs too. You know, like, for instance, in Magic, like, there's different I mean, Magic and Pokemon, but there's, like, all kinds of what do you call it, win conditions that you can use. Hi, VSM. But, like, there's all kinds of win conditions that, you know, like, you build a deck around winning in that fashion. You could do something where you don't. There is only one murder. Well, welcome to the stream. It's definitely nice to get new people in here. So I'm not just talking to the same two people. I was going through some UFO Reddit stuff and movie talk and all that kind of stuff, and then somehow ended up watching YouTube videos. I mean, that's pretty normal. YouTube videos are pretty normal. I want more of this card game. Board games where you can't talk.
Okay, so if you are the clue giver, you cannot speak.
Okay.
Okay. What's your first clue?
Polar 2.
Okay. How about
No.
you can't make sounds. Can't do facial expressions either. You do realize if you react that this is no longer a game we're playing. We're just doing a hot or cold.
Cold? Cold?
Oh my god.
This guy, he does pretty good skits. I'll say that. And I mean, he's been doing this a long time, so. I want more of this card game. Booby talk. Okay, I think that's because I know he's done these some of these card ones for a long time, but reading AI generated tweets made to sound like me. Oh my gosh.
There is a website called AI Tweet Generator that generates random tweets in the tone of the username you put in. So let's see what they do for my username. My girlfriend is super sweet. She's like, I know I've been super kind to you and you've been super nice to me, but I'm going to start being mean to you from now on. And I'm like, I think you've been kind to me enough already, but okay. Don't look at the calendar. Don't look at the calendar. Don't look at the calendar. I keep thinking to myself, wow, this is the 2020s. Everything's going to be okay. I mean, I still hate everything, but I feel like at least everything is going to be okay. Huh.
Wow.
I thought about writing about how I hate cars, but I'm too lazy, so instead I'm going to post this tweet.
That sounds
I've been
real.
reading a lot of Kim Jong-il lately. He's surprisingly not a terrible person. What the fuck? I never use my car's manual. I just use the steering wheel. That's just how I roll.
Oh my god.
I've been playing Minecraft for 20 years, and I'm still in awe of how the game keeps getting better. You know, I've never actually played Minecraft once in my life. I was just told I'm the most requested voice actor on IMDb. Jesus Christ. God, I wish. Today was a really rough day for me. I feel like I'm constantly surrounded by people, but I'm mostly alone. Damn.
Dad's dark. Oh my god, let's try 40 different Jack. You know, I would probably watch this, just not tonight because it's getting late, but let's try 40 different Jack in the Box menu items. I miss Jack in the Box. Such a great fast food chain. Such a great fast food chain. I hear they're expanding down this way though. Like there was word that they were going to open a couple locations in Georgia and Florida, which would be nice because they're amazing. Jack? Oh, you mean like, what is it? Jackbox games or whatever? I don't know what it's called. You ever had Jack in the Box? Are you kidding? Like, I understand if you're from this part of the country or this side of the country, but... Well, no, I wasn't expecting you to have had Jack in the Box, but Tomcat, I think you lived out west, so... They pretty much stop somewhere about, at least if you're going in the southern states, they stop about halfway through Texas or something. I think the last Jack in the Box I found driving to Florida was somewhere outside Houston, Texas, if I remember right. And then from then on, there's no more Jack in the Box. What? I feel like you're lying. Because I know where you've lived. But Jack in the Box has like They have Whataburger in Tallahassee? Whataburger's pretty good. Last time I had Whataburger was in like Nevada or something. Nevada or Arizona or something like that, though. And that is bad, which makes me sad. Yeah, Whataburger's okay. Jack in the Box is all over the West. They were founded in San Diego. They're all over. They're in California, Nevada, Idaho, Arizona. You know, they're very much a Western. How in the hell? That blows my mind. And their menu. Menu's good. I mean, it's fast food, but like their food is good. My favorite item, because you can get breakfast 24/7. I love that about them. Huh? What is this? No. Something wrong with that link? Oh my god. Yeah, triple bonus check. What the heck? These must be newer things, because I never had those. Beep, beep, beep. I just want to look at the menu. Oh my god. Okay, let's do. Okay. 4 a.m. to 4 a.m. Yeah, my birthday is here in like 10 days or something as well. And I'll probably be working. Oh god, they have such good food. Oh god, and their little tacos. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I miss them so bad. They have these really good late night box deals. Breakfast combos. Here we go. The Supreme sausage, or the Supreme croissant is really good, but the best one is... Wait. No, where is it? There it is. Yes. Oh my god. This right here. This is my favorite thing. Extreme sausage sandwich. That's not bad. 2 times grilled sandwich, or sausage, 2 times melty American cheese, and a freshly cracked egg on a toasted, buttery baked bun. Your stomach owes you one for this. So good. But their whole menu is pretty good. Like across the board, like for fast food, it's good fast food. I mean, it tastes good. It's pretty bad for you, but oh god, yeah, tacos were cheap back in the day. Well, they Jack in the Box has always had these 2-for-1 taco things. I don't know if they still do. Oh, they got shakes and desserts too. Here it is. 2 tacos, 99 cents. They've always had this. And they're kind of garbagey tacos, but they are so good. 2 crunchy tacos with melty American cheese, shredded lettuce, and our signature taco sauce. They're not huge, but you know, for $1, you get 2 of them. When I was, well, I am poor now. But when I needed to be very, very cheap and I had like $3 to my name, I would go buy like 2 2 sets of these. So I get like 4 tacos, and buy like a can of soda or something, right? And I would put 2 of the tacos in the fridge to save for later, and then I would eat the 2 for the meal. And then like the next day or something, I would literally just microwave, or sometimes I would even eat them cold. They're actually pretty decent cold. But you gotta do what you gotta do. When you got $3 or something, go get 4 tacos from Jack in the Box. You can't be doing this to me now. Well, I think like Denny's is probably open. Somewhere like that. Yeah, this is like my favorite fast food joint, but we don't have them over here. Free delivery Fridays. What? And their mascot is this dude with the big Jack in the Box head. Not the menu, that's not what I wanted. Blue Waffle House. Their commercials always been like goofy and weird, and they've always had this dude as their mascot. I used to have an antenna ball that was like his head. Grave photo work? Oh yeah, I forgot you do that stuff. So, anyways, yeah, now that I'm getting hungry. I think I'm gonna have to go to bed soon, because you know when you're poor and you're hungry, you know what you do? You go to sleep. Yeah. Like you don't got no food, you don't have any money, and you're hungry. Number one solution. Well, time for bed. I think he actually goes and takes pictures of graves at people's requests. Something like that. It's like DoorDash, but for graves or something like that, right? DoorDashing graves. Uber Eats, but graveyard. Just fill up my freezer with frozen. You know, I was talking about this, and like obviously I know I'm old, but 2006 or 7. Yes. But like 2006 or 7 when I first was like paying rent and had my own little place. I was working at GameStop. Although, well, it was EB Games at the time. It was before it all became GameStop. But anyways, so I was making really crap money. It's like $5.15 an hour back then. And I was only working like 15, 20 hours a week or some stupid crap like that. But I would go to Walmart, usually at like 2 o'clock in the morning or something. And I get a whole stack of the Totino's pizzas, like the little Totino's pizzas. And they were like 69 cents back then. Yeah, because it used to be EB Games. It was Electronics Boutique. It was actually sometime in like 2007 when they started changing them, because they had bought Electronics Boutique basically, or merged or whatever, and slowly but surely were turning them all to GameStops. Because they had also bought, there was another brand called Software Etc. And same thing, they ended up converting into GameStops. back in the day at the mall that I worked at, there was both an electronics boutique and a software, etc. And they both became GameStops over time. But I was working there in 2006 and then again in 2007. And so, yeah, I would go get, like, when I was hungry and it was time to go, quote unquote, grocery shopping. My grocery shopping was a 12-pack of Mountain Dew, a big stack of 6 to 10 Totino's pizzas, and back then they were like 69 cents. They were like dirt cheap. Whereas now they're like almost $2. It's kind of crazy. Or maybe they're like more than that. But and then a whole, like, you know how you can get the whole case of ramen for like, well, it used to be like $2 or $3. So for like less than 20 bucks, I would get a whole week's worth of starvation food because I was probably pretty poorly nourished off of all that. If you play the Song of Storm, lightning strikes the headstone, it reveals secret openings. Well, yeah, now, like, that, yeah, like, it but it's like you said, it's kind of depresso. Because I remember things being anywhere from half to a third as cheap or as expensive at some point. But I'm also realizing that that's me also getting old. I remember in 2005, 2006, I thought I was having a dream. Like it was like a dream or whatever. But it was actually a legitimate memory. There was a little tiny gas station across the street from the neighborhood I lived in. And I would drive my tiny little car, my tiny little Saturn, over to this gas station, and I would buy gas for, I believe it was like $1.20 a gallon, something like that. And this was back in like 2005, 2006. A bottle of, like a 20-ounce bottle of soda used to be $1. Like if you went to the gas station, it used to be $1. And if you pay attention now, you know, because we try not to, like you said, but if you do pay attention, they're like $2.40 or something like that, $2.29 or something for a bottle, a 20-ounce bottle of Mountain Dew. I'm like, my gosh, the price of a 20-ounce bottle of soda from the time that I used to buy them when I was like a teenager to now has more than doubled for a stupid soda. $3.29. What's that for? Because like $3.29 is more in the range of like when I buy an amp or a Celsius or something. Really? Oh, you know what? Also, the state taxes on certain things can be an issue too. Because yeah, I think like if you go to a gas station and buy a 20 ounce, it's like $2.30, something like that. Celsius is good. Celsius is a nice option because you're not dealing with as much of the sugar and other stimulants, and there's no like aspartame or anything like that in it. But yeah, you still get your caffeine, you get some other, you know, stuff like vitamin C and other stuff like that, but their little proprietary green tea herbal formula to like boost your metabolism and stuff, that's all pretty good. I usually, if I'm going to the gym or something, I'll actually drink a Celsius on the way or when I first get there to kind of get me going. And occasionally for like work or something, I'll get a Celsius. For whatever reason, when I go to work, it's different. Like, that's when I'm going to have my amp. You know, my Mountain Dew amp, because I love those. Normally, I would have had one tonight, but I was trying to cut back a little bit. Venom? Is that an energy drink or a soda? Yeah, it's a good way to get going because you're getting the effects of an energy drink in some ways, but you're not getting a lot of the downsides of an energy drink. Because the main problem isn't necessarily the caffeine. It's how it's delivered to you. Oh, yeah. Well, if it's not amp, then I just eat oranges. Whew. Okay, well, like I said about 30 minutes ago, I think I'm going to go lay down. Turn on some music or some random crap to listen to until I fall asleep. But I think I'm getting my stamina, my streaming stamina up, so it's good. And we did have a couple of new visitors in here tonight, so that's kind of nice. I always like that. I've actually got, like I said, there's a few people that have joined my streams in the last couple of weeks. They're like new, and they seem to want to be here. But they've been like, yeah, it's just too late, you know, or weeknights or whatever, you know, that kind of stuff. So I am going to try occasionally here and there to throw in maybe like a late afternoon or, you know, some earlier evening stream. Maybe do like 2 shorter streams. Like if I have the ability to get on at like 8 or 9 and do that for an hour and a half or something, and then come back later and do another hour and a half for a later stream. I don't know. I might mix it up. I want to keep the schedule, but then I'll try and throw in other stuff too, just to be more inclusive, so that people that aren't quite as an insomniac can actually join the streams. So, anyways, guys, it's been fun. Actually had some pretty entertainment stuff. I like that Emu War thing. That was pretty... Yeah, well, and that's half the schedule anyways, you know. Friday, and so, because I just do Monday, Wednesday, and then Friday, Saturday. Like I said, most of that is just partly to ensure that I can keep up with the schedule, regardless of what happens with work. And the other side of it is I'm also a night owl, and so it gives me something to do sort of productive at night when I'm already awake, and possibly find other people that are kind of night owls who might be looking for some random stream to listen to, you know, while they're sleeping or whatever. So, because I do that. Like right now, I'm literally just going to go on YouTube and like either find video content or see if there's like a stream from somebody I like. So, either who, they said, it's been fun, and I'm glad you guys joined me. I will be back tomorrow at some point, my regular scheduled time, or possibly an additional earlier stream.